Welcome back to another episode of Do What You Love and Love What You Do. This is one of my favorite shows. It's a passion of mine. Network marketing. The name of this show is called Mr. and Mrs. Network Marketing. Mr. Vash Johnson and his wife Jamila Johnson, who have reached the top level of two separate companies, and they are here to just share with us their journey and how anyone, and I mean anyone, can have success in network marketing. Take notes. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Do What You Love and Love What You Do. Guys, we have a great family with us today, Mr. and Mrs. Johnson out of Dallas, Texas, and I'm really excited to have them on our show. Just a reminder, we're doing a series of shows on entrepreneurship and what does it mean to be an entrepreneur and different avenues people are taking, whether they're doing it by themselves or doing it with a business partner. But now we have a husband and wife, my big brother and big sister. Just happy to have them on the show today. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves and then we're going to dive right into it to get ready to give you some very good knowledge on entrepreneurship and what does it take to get to the top. Hey guys, how you doing?
We're good, man. Thank you for allowing us to, be able to talk to the people, man. Maybe we can, hopefully we can put something out there to bless somebody. But we're Vash and Jamila Johnson, man, from Dallas, Texas. 6 kids, and when we got started in our industry, man, we worked 6 jobs between the two of us, just grinded, man. And so, just we didn't want our kids to know what the low income housing was about. I was raised in low income housing, and I was raised without a father in the household, and so I didn't want that to become me. And lo and behold, working on 6 jobs, bro, guess what happened? I became the father that I kind of resented because I wasn't always in the home. I was grinding to make life better for our kids, and so on my main job, I was a maintenance supervisor, and I did that for 15 years before I was literally just open to take a look at anything else because I knew what the next 15 years were going to be like.
Right.
In fact, I remember just being at my main job, and I saw a lady get recognized for being there 30 years, and I wasn't excited, I wasn't as excited as everybody else. Everybody was standing up and clapping and but I was just looking at like what they gave her for those 30 years, and I was like, oh no, man, it's got to be a better way.
Hey man, that's funny that you mentioned that because every time I'm in a staff meeting or something, teachers get recognized, Teacher of the Year, and all this stuff, man, I just be shaking my head, man. And some of the older teachers there, I come from a family of educators. My mom's a principal, and my grandma was a teacher, and my in-laws were teachers. More power to them for retiring a teacher, but hey, bro, that ain't for me, man. That ain't
Right,
that ain't for me. And as you see what we're going through now, teaching might not be it. Period.
man,
So,
Absolutely.
for real.
hey,
I
but
come from
more
a
power to you
family
for
of
having
hard
those six
workers,
kids.
bless it.
Yeah, yeah.
What's
Bless
that?
y'all for having 6 kids, man. Y'all can have that. I'm good with my two.
I thought he was cute a couple times. Bless it.
Wow,
Hey, you had one job for each kid. Then you had 6 jobs, 6 kids. There you go.
That's what people
man.
say. It's just like what he said, though. We didn't even realize we had 6 jobs, and we actually did that for about 5 years. We
Mm.
were just laser focused on our goal of financial freedom, and we were doing it the way we knew how. Hard work was instilled in us, so we knew how to get out there and work. We just didn't realize that even with 6 jobs, we didn't have a shot at financial freedom because our bills would catch up with our income until we figured out, bless it, what
Right,
leverage was all about and
right, right.
and how to get to residual income. Like we were literally 37 years old before we knew what leverage and residual income was about. But it's never too
Yeah,
late.
Right.
yeah. It's not. And so the industry y'all speaking about is network marketing. And so the title of the show is Mr. and Mrs. Network Marketing. And so I got introduced at a very, very young age in network marketing. Being out in Fort Worth, Dallas area, everything came through there. And my dad tried everything from, I remember bottled water. Nobody wanted to do that. That was a network marketing business. We had a couple of our friends, our family friends, be very successful in Amway. I
Mm-hmm.
remember my dad bringing home some cookies that was supposed to make you lose weight. Cookies that make you lose weight, and
Oxymoron.
and so I've been part of a lot of different companies from the health industry to the travel industry, and so for me, I saw it early, and I my mom wasn't really on the, I guess, leverage. It was just about the money part because, like you said, I've always hustled and grind. So instead of me slinging dope or something, I had a product,
Right.
actual product, and I was actually
Is a
successful.
product.
Yeah, actually, actually, actually had I was successful. I got introduced to Primerica early in the insurance industry. And I was young, so I didn't really take it serious. But my most success was in a company called Prepaid Legal, um, and I did that in college, and I was in magazines. I was like 19, 20. I had hit a couple of ranks, had residual income, met all the top people. Still got the numbers in my phone. Mr. Peden, he's like the senior VP. Still reach out to them every once in a while. And so I seen it. I seen it early, and then from there on, it was just grind, grind, grind. But I never was able to just really hit the mark that I wanted to in network marketing because I just had a lot of other goals. Not because I couldn't, but I just was juggling a lot of things. A full-time coach, full-time teacher, just starting my own businesses and things like that. So for our listeners, our viewers, just explain. I mean, what is network marketing, multi-level marketing? What is that industry? And can you just explain to us in layman terms?
I think it's pretty cool that network marketing, like you just named a lot of different companies, and we all have heard of some form of, network marketing, Mary Kay, Amway, Primerica, all of these different companies. I was a person who all of my friends, when I got introduced, prior to me being introduced, all of my friends had done some type of network marketing, and I would support them as far as buying products from them, but I was never intrigued on becoming a customer or a consultant for their company. And the reason being is I had never seen anybody get financially free from not anybody that we knew.
Right.
And I never saw anybody doing it as a team. It was always, I'm bringing my product to you by myself. I'm showing you my product. You're buying my product. And it's just like the grind of it seemed like it wasn't worth it to me. And I had never seen anybody get free, so it wasn't intriguing to me. So when we actually got introduced formally, when we went to a presentation, the entire ride to the presentation, I'm telling him, we're just going to give our nice note. Whatever this is, we're not doing it. We're just going to give our nice note. But what ended up happening is my career field is in the medical field. And I make mention of that because, whatever you do for a living, you naturally have a higher level of respect for people who do the same thing because you know what they went through to get what they have. So after this whole adamant conversation about we're not doing it, we get to this presentation, and my coworker who invited us out, she introduces us to 4 different doctors. And the significance of that is I'm in the healthcare field. Those doctors being in this presentation were the only thing that made me pay attention. I went to my husband and I said, babe, I know I said we're not doing this, and we're still not doing it. They might get you over there, they might get me over here, but we need to pay attention. And we did. We sat in the front row.
Wow.
Yeah. And I got excited about the vacation aspect because the company we were initially introduced to, their product was travel. And with 6 kids, the way that savings and checking was set up, all of those kids weren't getting on that airplane when we went on vacation once a year. So we saw the presentation. I get excited about the vacation because I'm like, it's the way to take all these kids on vacation. But now I'm sitting here and I have a dilemma. the dilemma is, how do I get this man to believe this whole thing is his idea if I want to do it now? Because I was so adamant about not doing it. So when I asked him what he thought, he was actually the one that said, I think this could be our route to financial freedom. So for me, I was like, you got to be crazy. That is not what I was going after, right? But, at this point, I'm holding an income disclosure in my hand. And I'm talking about doing the membership aspect of it. He wants to do the business aspect. I'm holding an income disclosure in my hand, and I'm looking at all the different ranks in the company. And of course, I look at the top rank, and the money looks amazing. But the percentage of people that make it to that rank, that's what was discouraging for me. And that's what gave me the self-limiting beliefs. Because for that particular company, I mean, there was over 1 million people in the company. And when we got started, it was already 7, 8 years old. And not even 1% actually reached the top rank in that company. It was like 0.07%.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking at this and I'm like, these all have to be professional network marketers, these sharks out here who make up this less than 1%, who actually get to this rank. So it gave me more self-limiting beliefs. And it just made me feel like, I don't want to play in an arena where I don't think I can win. And the only thing that made me say, we could do it, he dug his heels in the ground and he was like, I really want to do this. This could be our shot. And my mindset was, okay, let's mess this thing up then. We're going to do it. And if we don't make it, it's going to be your fault. I'm going to have you to blame. And then I have my coworker telling me, oh, we got this simple system. We do this thing together. And I'm thinking, I'm sure that's what they tell everybody. But we ended up jumping on board and just following the simple system, got a few people involved in the first week. And for me, we actually did more in our first week than I thought we would do in our whole network marketing tenure. Shared it with about 20 people and 7 say yes. And I'm like, we're good. We made our money back.
Yeah, made our money back. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. People, they want to make their money back fast. And, everybody looking for the fast buck. And I think that's one of the negative marks on on the industry is that, people seek success. And like you mentioned earlier, you never knew anybody that was successful in network marketing. See, I was opposite because everybody I met, they were successful. Like I was meeting the top guys in the company, at every meeting or whatever I go to. And these guys, I mean, I remember I was in Williamsburg working at selling timeshares. Probably the most money I ever made in my life. People was coming there writing me $7,000-$8,000 checks for timeshares. And I got introduced to it, and I went over to this guy's house. At the time, he was probably around your age, about 36, 37. He had a huge house. And then he sat us down. He invited me to play the Robert Kiyosaki game, the board game.
Oh, wow.
And we played that. And after I played that, it was all she wrote. It just opened up different things for me. And I always knew that I always had to be this was something I could put in my back pocket, like you said, to be on route to financial freedom. Let me ask you guys a question, Vash. This question is for you. Like, I probably experienced the same thing. Like all the negative stuff, man, probably from the closest people, your family or whatever. Walk us through that, because as entrepreneurs, whatever it is, you got the people that's always supporting you. And then when you finally do it, it seems like that support changed to hate or kind of, they just kind of laid back. Oh yeah, I'm gonna check you out. I'm gonna buy your book. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm gonna buy your book. Yeah, I'm gonna check you out. So how did that go?
Man, well, when I got started, literally, of course, we didn't know what we were doing. And they told us just invite, our closest friends and family. And that's what I did. So our very first event, I remember inviting a guy who I grew up with. I mean, I've been knowing this guy since maybe 13, 14 years old. We grew up in the housing projects together. We were both like-minded. We didn't get in trouble like a lot of our friends. So I'm thinking in my head, I know this guy's gonna do it with me because this is my guy. You know what I'm saying? This is the guy. This person, you know, we've been, you know, I've been the ear to talk to him. You know, when he, you know, we were good friends, and so I invited him out, and he looked at it, and he said, me and my wife gonna have to say nah to your little pyramid scheme. And that hurt, man. I mean, because this is my guy. This is who I grew up with. You know, pyramid scheme is something illegal. You've known me forever. I've never done anything illegal. And so that hurt. And so that made me just want to just go and kill this thing and show him that what I was doing was not illegal. And so he actually got to sit down and watch us go from, you know, vacation to vacation to vacation to hitting certain ranks in the company. I also went to, you know, close family as well. And I had a family member that just told me, like, nah, you know, he down talked it, but it was kind of like maybe in a sarcastic way. And it, you know, again, this person is somebody I knew would do this with me. Like, I just knew that they were going to sign up. And not only did they not sign up, well, he told other family members and other friends, because we have mutual friends, what I was doing, and, you know, that I was out here scamming people. And so
you out here scamming people. You showing them your bank account. You not getting arrested, but you a scam artist.
Yeah. So I mean, again, that was, you know, I could have let that deter me. I could have, like, you know, cried and went into my little shell, but no, you know.
He cried.
Nah. I could have done that, but I mean, that just made us actually go harder at what we wanted and to show them that this thing worked. And I wasn't doing it for them. We were doing it for us to show them that it worked. We wanted to be the people that, oh, you say this doesn't work, this is not real. We want to show you that it was real.
I can show you better than I can tell you.
Absolutely. You have a front row seat because we're posting everything. You got a front row seat to see everything that we're doing, and not in a cocky way, you know, in a confident way, to show you, like, look, what I showed you is real, and I'm gonna do this thing with or without you, and that's what you have to be. And anytime you go after anything, you gotta be able to do it with or without the people.
So you said keep on me back up a little bit. You was like, you wasn't doing it for them. You was doing it for your family. And you know, we look at the life of Kobe Bryant and how he attacked the game of basketball, and you look at some of him, even Jordan. You know, they wasn't the most friendliest people. They wasn't the most best, you know, teammates as far, but they was well respected because of the way they attacked, and they had certain goals. Like Jordan was really playing for his last name. You know, Brian was really playing for his last name. And let's back up just a little bit on that mentality. Did y'all ever have that entrepreneurship bug that, you know, working 6 jobs, did it ever hit y'all before that? Hey, babe, you know, let's start a business, man. Let's just do something else. Let's do something different before the network marketing, selling your lap.
Yeah. Absolutely. Go.
Well, I truly believe in alignment. Before we got introduced to network marketing, we almost spent $10,000 buying vending machines. And
okay.
Somebody did the toe dip before we did, thankfully. And
Right.
It didn't turn out to be the brightest idea, the best idea, you know, like we thought it would be. Like, okay, if we could put the vending machines in a hospital, then, you know, we really make some money off of this. Well, they didn't tell us it was the basement of the hospital. So I'm just thankful that we didn't take the lead. We always have been those type of people where, and I think this is another deterrent with the network marketing, because we've always been the type of people where if we saw success, we knew we could follow success. You know, we know somebody who was doing it, then we can make it happen. But we didn't know anybody in our realm, in our circle, who, you know, had really become successful with the network marketing. And Vash has to speak for himself when he says, you know, he wasn't doing this for anybody. This thing changed for me in different phases. Our personality types are like polar opposite. So like for Vash, you know, it hurt him. Like, this is my boy. And for me, I was like, I will show you, blessed. That was me in the beginning. So
you really had that
doing
mama.
it
You
for the
had
last
that
day,
mama.
and I'm like, I'm gonna show you.
Yeah, you was a killer
Bless,
from the beginning. Then
bless
Right.
it.
Hey, and to kind of jump on what she said about entrepreneurship. Look, man, we started early. I remember we had a candy house. You know, I remember us having a candy house.
You gonna tell me about the illegal stuff? We might not have a permit.
We didn't. I remember us. I remember me. I used to sell bootleg CDs.
I was getting ready to say, tell them what you did.
So and in the time when it was booming, you know what I'm saying? And so I had success in that as well, you know. So, you know, I think we've always had the entrepreneur bug in us.
Bless it.
Whether it be right or wrong.
so look, so does it? Y'all was talking about earlier. I think Jamila, you said you felt like it was the people at the top already had success, or they had a good following. Does it take a person with a lot of influence to be successful in the network marketing industry?
That is a very good question. That's a great question. See, it was a deterrent for me because I'm looking at this and I've seen all the quote unquote sharks, the professional network marketers, and I just knew that's what made up that less than 1% that actually reached the top. But in building to the top, in our first company, we got to realize that it's not necessarily what you've done before. It's how coachable and teachable you are and how consistent you are. That is what's key. Because like for me, we live in Texas. I'm 1,500 miles away from my family outside of who I gave birth to and my husband. I mean, my mom's side and my dad's side both are in California. So building a business like this, I was thinking, I kept telling myself all the things that people say when they feel like they can't do it. I don't have a large network. My family and I got a lot of friends in California. All of my family is in California. They're not here in Texas with me. I don't have a big following on social media. As a matter of fact, Vash and I were off of social media for 2 full years before we got introduced to our first network marketing company. And so all of that played a role, and it was playing a song in our minds that we probably couldn't build to the top because we didn't have everything that we saw other people at the top with. But to answer your question, your influence initially doesn't matter. It matters how coachable and teachable and how consistent you are. And the way you do anything is the way you do everything.
Everything. Right.
Right. And I just want to just kind of tag along that, like you said, it's not influence, it's passion. If you can get passionate about something, people will follow you. I can leave out of our apartment right now and go and knock on everybody's door and say, hey, I'm about to burn myself. I'm about to set myself on fire. I'm about to set myself on fire. Eventually, if the people hear the passion in my voice, guess what? Some people are gonna come and see, man, is this guy really crazy? Is he really gonna do what he say he gonna do? See, they're gonna watch me set myself on fire. They're gonna watch. That's the passion that you have to have in anything you go after. It's all about passion. Now, people can sense that if you're trying to sell them something, but no, people follow people with passion.
For sure. Because I don't see us as these, even today, even though we built to that top rank in the company, we've done what less than 1% of people do come into this industry. We've done it, but I don't see us as those professional network marketers, those sharks. What I see us as is people who pick up good vibes, people who know how to connect with people, and people who know how to connect people to people. And we've done that consistently. That's what gets us what we have.
Yeah. When you're willing to set yourself on fire. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just think that's huge, just because of the transparency of it, and just seeing regular people experience success in the industry. And I think that is what's important, and definitely for our listeners and viewers. These are, the Johnson family is a regular family, hardworking family, 6 kids, 6 jobs. And that's right now is that is the story of a lot of people right now, especially in the times that we're going through now. You got young people coming out of college, spending, $80,000 on college. They get a job, happy posting the job, but half their check go to student loans. You know,
Yeah.
what if they had a system in place where they're in college and they already have something that's paying off those student loans, right? While they're doing their
Right.
job, using that leverage. Because those guys, collecting their money, they're not gonna stop. They're gonna come after you no matter what.
That's
Um,
Absolutely.
look, that's the real scam. When people talk about network marketing is a scam,
Right.
yeah,
the
yeah,
way
that's what I'm
that's set
saying.
up, the way that's
Um,
set up, that's it right there.
I know, Jamila, you wrote a book, but before we get into that, let's talk about your circle of influence. So, so for me, I'm always what I've learned. I love the part of Facebook where you look back at your old posts and everything. For some reason, I don't post none of the crazy stuff I used to post, but it posts some of the positive stuff that I used to post. When I was in college. But I've always been a person. I be around winners. Um, whatever it is, being around good, strong men, making sure that I have a good energy with them, making sure they're God fearing men. You look at Facebook now, you see people posting this conspiracy theory and all everything. I've never really surrounded myself around people who think like that. I've always surrounded myself with good coaches. Or here's a real fact: going through school, and I tell my parents this all the time. I went to public school, then I was, blessed to go to private school out there in Fort Worth. But to this day, I didn't have any teachers that impacted my life. I didn't have my first teacher that impacted my life till I went to Hampton University, Dr. Hunter. Really, it took me under his wing. But so growing up, it was all about coaches and different mentors. So that was my circle of influence. Who is your circle of influence on this journey? Whether it's uh, balancing being a father of six kids, being an entrepreneur, um, in the network marketing industry. How do you kind of pick out who's your mentors, who you gonna follow, who you gonna listen to?
Well, it's simple for me. I have several mentors, and I don't know how I pick them, but I mean, I think I pick them of the relation or of their story, and if I can add their story, make it, not make it, but if their story is similar to mine, and it just, I don't know, like my wife says, it's almost like a vibe.
Definitely.
It's definitely a vibe. Like Les Brown, he's been my mentor for the longest. When I first started this journey, I remember just used to have to just every day at work, I would listen to Les Brown every day, every day, every day, just trying to, flip my mindset. And that's what it took. But I have several different mentors, Les Brown, Lisa Nichols, Eric Thomas. I just, different people that I follow for certain reasons.
And for me, what I can say is I have a few mentors as well, but like what I want to reflect on is when we got into this industry, the people who brought us on board, we are forever grateful for them, first of all, for bringing us into this industry, because we got introduced to personal development. That is key.
Personal
Um,
development.
For real.
Definitely. But what happened is it's again alignment. I strongly believe in alignment, and you get exactly what you're looking for. So when you are seeking a mentor, you're going to find it. A lot of people ask me, how do you find your mentors? Did you hear he said one of his mentors was Les Brown? He doesn't know Les Brown personally. Les Brown may not even know that he's his mentor, but he's seeking the knowledge from the people who have the results. And that's what we do. So we naturally latch on to that. So even though the people who brought us into this, we exceeded their leadership, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way at all, but we were searching for more. We were searching to lead, even though we hadn't put a label on it. And our first mentor in this industry was searching for leaders. And so we were like several levels away from him, but we ended up aligning. And he already had the results that we wanted, and we trusted him. He took us under his wing, and we trusted him, and were consistent in our efforts, again, helping us to get where we want. So I'm a firm believer in alignment, and you have different mentors for different avenues that you want to go. So he could mentor us and helping us get to the top rank in that company. When it goes like outside of that, for example, we need mentorship in marriage. We're not seeking someone who's been married 7 times.
Right.
We're seeking the ones, we're looking for who's strong in their marriage and what are they doing to get to that level in their marriage.
Man, that's powerful right there. And for our viewers, real quick, you will see the Johnson family walking across the stage. We're going to put that right there.
Hey guys, I just want to take a short break and share with you the moment that the Johnson family achieved the top level of their company. And if you are watching, you can see the video. And if you're listening on our podcast, you can definitely listen to what they had to say once they achieved that great moment for their family.
Vash and Jamila Johnson! Switch cars, going through like I'm Harold. Never talk, just action. This is what we do.
This is how we get paid.
Vash and Jamila Johnson out of Dallas, Texas. Started this idea. We have 6 kids, and when we started this idea, we were working 6 jobs between 2 of us. A little bit about our background. I was born and raised in low-income housing, and my wife used to stay in low-income housing. And we made a vow that our kids would not know what low-income housing was all about. In 2012, my wife and I sat down. We had a conversation with ourselves. We had a conversation with God, and we prayed, and we set a goal to become debt-free before January 1st, 2020. And in 2013, we got introduced into World Ventures. We actually went to say no to whatever it was. But what made us pay attention, there was a dentist, a chiropractor, a VP for a large bank, and the person doing the presentation was a sports medicine doctor who worked for the Mavericks. That made us pay attention. Right. But that also gave us self-limiting beliefs, because we said, well, they're winning because he's a dentist. He's winning because he's a chiropractor. It wasn't until we came to our first event, The View in 2013. Yeah. As a young man, his name is Jesus, I met him today. He got on the stage and he shared his story. He said, when he first saw this idea, when he signed up, he was on house arrest. And that was our Me Too moment. See, he gave us belief that we could do this. And today we're here to give somebody else a Me Too moment. See,
Me too! Yeah!
if Vash and Jamila Johnson can do this, and we have 6 kids, and we had 6 jobs, somebody say me too.
Me too!
If Vash and Jamila can do this, never done any network marketing. This is our first rodeo. Somebody say me too.
Me too!
I'm gonna pass the microphone to the rock star. Bless it.
I love this, man. Oh my goodness. I just want to say thanks. My goodness. First and foremost, thank God. Thank God for His grace, His strategic timing and placement. Thank God that our 6 kids get to learn a lesson and what a season of consistency and following the people who have what you want can get you. Thank God for my daddy who instilled that work ethic and his unconditional love. And thank y'all for bringing them to the front. I love you. Oh my goodness, thank God for the mentorship and the leadership in this company. Scott and Sheila Ross believed in Vash and Jamila before we ever thought any of this was possible. Thank you. And last but certainly not least, thank you for our amazing team, because without you, we wouldn't be here, and we can't wait to be cheering you on this stage, because this stage represents freedom!
I wrote a book. You know, when my first son was born. The process was crazy. I don't even know. I've been trying to write another book, and I was going back looking at some of the things that I was doing to write the first book. I don't even know how to get there mentally. What I was writing, I was so locked in writing that first book, just to help people. But you personally have finished your book, and from the comments, when you first dropped it, I was like, oh man, this joy might be juicy. Like you dropped some bombs in there, and then and then you had to get Vash on board for you to share those stories. I don't know how that.
Yes, sir.
Did you have them drink a little bit of wine before you told them?
Nah.
But let me see the cover of the book. Let me see the book. Let me see that thing right there. A nice picture. See it look on the outside. It look good. You know what I'm saying? On the outside, it look good.
For real.
Then you dive deep into your story. Now the floor is yours. Y'all go ahead and take these next 5 minutes and just share that story and share some deep parts in your book for our listeners and our viewers.
Well, I'll start off. The book starts off to me. It was. I'm gonna say this. It was hard for me to read the book in the beginning because of what we've been through. And so, I myself like to block out a lot of stuff from my past. And so when I dove into the book, even though I lived it, it was hard reliving it because of the hurt that I caused. And so I got like 40 pages in, and I was like, I closed it. I couldn't do it. It was making me feel some type of way. And anytime my emotions are draining, something is draining me, I cut it off. And she was like, babe, you have to read the book. You like, how can you not read the book? It's about you, it's about us. And so it simply was about, to me, it's about how a young man who was, how can I put this in my own words? I was taught to survive. I was taught to survive, growing up in the projects. And I didn't know what to do with a diamond when it came into my life, because I wasn't taught that. I was just taught survival tactics. And in my marriage, I mimicked what I saw other men do in their marriage, because I didn't have I didn't have the perfect model for marriage as we were growing up. And so, we hit some bumps and bruises along the way, a lot of bumps and bruises. But I mean, I just look at it like, I don't, do I resent anything that happened? No, absolutely. Because the person who I was in the beginning made us who we are today. So I count it all joy. I mean, we don't focus on the pain and the hurt. We focus on where we are right now. And a lot of times, most people can't do that. They so focused on, well, you hurt me back then, and you hurt me this. Okay, I did. Now what? Can we move from there? How can we move forward? I'm sorry. Go ahead, babe.
Oh, you good. I'm over here. I'm so tickled listening to him because I want to pull the curtain back. Let's go back to before I wrote the book. So the book is a relationship book, and it's about our struggle. It's from the point that we meet, and I carry you all the way through to where we are now and how we got to where we have this deep understanding. But let's go back to when I wrote the book. So for years, people have been telling me, you got a story, you need to write a book. I didn't believe it. And you have to believe it first and foremost. And I firmly believe in alignment. I was approached in December of 2016 about writing a book. And I was like, it really, really is. It keeps coming back to me and it sounds really good, but this is what I'm going to do. This is a busy season in network marketing in my business. People are getting their income tax checks. They're right around the corner, right? So I'll get back to you by the time April is over. Well, it was almost the last day in April, and I made a Facebook post. And the Facebook post was different than my normal post. Normally, I'm about inspiration. This post was about the relationship, and it got so many comments, and there were people in the comments talking about we need to write a book. And I'm like, this is it. It was the end of April. So I contacted a writing coach. Now, she didn't help me write. She helped me with the format of it, you know.
Format, yeah,
All
right.
writing was right here, my head, my heart.
Right.
And I was in a funk actually when I wrote the book, and it's probably gonna surprise you, but I literally started writing on May the 2nd. I turned the final manuscript into the editor on June the 19th. The book was on Amazon July the 28th. That quickly. Like, most people take years to write a book.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And this book sold over 100 copies in the very first week. Now, that was super shocking to me because, like I said, you have to believe it. I really didn't believe that, you know, I had a story that people wanted to read, but I was so transparent in this book, I even shocked myself. Like, the way I started writing was I wrote the beginning. The middle hurt so much, I had to stop and go write the end and come back to the middle. And it's ironic that when he got to the pain, he couldn't read. He had to put the book down. That's where I had to stop as well. But the thing is, once it was done, it was true healing for me. Like, literally, I could honestly say everything was all worth it. Right. Writing this book was it was a different form of therapy for me. And I knew it would help a lot of people by the time I was done. Because a lot of people, I talk about a lot of stuff that we sweep under the rug. I was very transparent.
So real quick, you know, we get into that time. What is probably the part of the book? Don't spill all of it. The most shocking part that some of your friends or family didn't know y'all were going through, but after they read the book, you were getting all kind of text messages and things like that.
Vash probably got a lot of hate mail in the beginning.
right. I will warn people, hey, look, when you start reading this book, just know I'm not the same person. So I don't want you to look. I will have to definitely have to warn people, but
probably for me, the probably most difficult part to write was in a 7-day span, I literally lost my husband and my mother. I literally made the 2 hardest decisions of my life in a 7-day span. And I was 33 years old. You know, we call 33 the Jesus year. It was the toughest year of my life. So losing my husband and holding my mom's hand as she took her last breath within 7 days, that definitely, and the things that went on in that time right there, definitely, like, how did you make it? It makes me think about this pandemic, like what's happening right now and how people are at their lowest point and so discouraged. And that's when a book was birthed for us.
Right.
Out of that despair comes greatness.
Yeah. So Vash, let me ask you this, man. I know the book was real emotional. I could tell in your voice. I'm getting emotional now just by listening to you guys. You know, was there a lot of conversation while you were writing the book and say, hey, babe, I'm going to put this in the book? Or you kind of went into I know for me when I was writing, you get into that zone Well, I used to stretch, meditate, push ups, right. Stretch, meditate, push ups, right. Um, and then and then I would just put everything on paper or in my phone or whatever. Was there a conversation? Hey, babe, do you mind if I put this in a book, or y'all kind of prayed with each other before, kind of let y'all speak of alignment? How did that go?
I gotta take this. I know you asked Bosh, but I gotta take this. So the thing is, like, I would write and then I would go to Bosh, and being that we had healed from a lot of things that happened, we're in a very great space, a space where I could even write this book. He trusted everything that I was putting in the book. So I would go to him and be like, babe, can you read this? Or, would you change anything here? Are you okay with me doing this? And he got to a point where he read a little bit, but not much at all. And when it was time for me to turn the manuscript into the editor, I asked Bosh if he wanted to read before I turned it in. And he said, no, I trust you. And I said, okay. So when it came back, before it went to Amazon, I said, do you want to read before it goes to Amazon? No. So there were literally people who have Amazon Prime that we weren't familiar with. They got it the next day. So there were people who read our book before he did. And I was going somewhere else with this as I was writing and passing everything. It was something that really came to my mind while you were talking, Jacob, about, this is what it was. This was key. See, when, there was some infidelity, and he held on to it for years. When Vash was able to come clean and tell me everything, it was a huge weight lifted off of him. But this is what most people do not realize. All of that years of baggage that he was holding on to, all this guilt, all that weight, everything that he had done, he put it on me. I picked up all of those years of baggage. And even though the weight was off of him, it transferred to me. Right. And a lot of people don't realize how much it's going to take for this person to heal. You carried that for years, and you expect us to get over it, much quicker than the years. It's like you gain a whole bunch of weight, and then you expect to lose it, right, with 2 pills. Bless it.
2 cookies.
2 cookies, right?
So, Vash, how'd you emotionally? I know you said you had to put the book down. That first time reading it emotionally, how did it really affect you? Just reading those words that your wife had wrote.
Well, I always, viewed our situation from my point of view. When I got her point of view, her perspective, and I was able to read those words, it just the hurt hit different. And even though I know we were past that, we're good now. Just to reflect on, the pain I caused, the hurt I caused. Like, man, I wasn't when I was doing things. I was selfish. I wasn't thinking about anybody but me. But to go back and read those things, because I'm a people person. You know what I'm saying? I love helping people, and to read that how I was hurting someone, yeah, that tore me up. And so, but like my wife said, once we had the talk, I didn't even finish reading the book that night. I got up the next day and I sat on the couch and I finished reading it, and I was good. I was like, when I started over, and when I started getting, we're not there anymore. This is who we were. This is who I was back then. I'm not that same person anymore. So I don't, I feel like I don't have to be, be emotional behind it, because that's not who I am anymore.
Man, that's powerful. So we've tackled a lot on this show. So we went from entrepreneurship to a marriage counseling session. And what I get from that, though, for real, is the balance, right? And so, in my life and my marriage, right, me and my wife, so similar to you guys, we don't have any family here, right? So all our family's in Texas, and then our other family's in New York. So we raising two kids. It's been like that. We did long distance relationship when we was in college, right? She was in grad school in Virginia. I was in grad school in New York, right? So we've always figured out a way to kind of make this thing work, and you guys have figured out a way to make it work. And I'm the entrepreneurship in here. My wife is on the educational track, and she's holding it down, studying for her different license, counseling license, and things like that. And so we've always had to find that balance. Whether during basketball season for me, basically I'm in the gym 7 days a week, from all the way from probably October to right after end of February, and then on to my busiest season for my business, all the way to the summer. So it's just been crazy trying to figure out that balance. I'm looking forward to really reading your book with my wife at the same time. So I definitely need two signed copies, one to my wife and one to me. We're going to use that as our my study material. We read Willie Moore's junior book. We read his book, and him and his wife. So this will be a great read for us and for our listeners, our viewers. Please go grab your copy. Hold it up one more time so our viewers can see. It is on Amazon. It is
Yep,
on
it's also
Amazon.
on our website,
Okay, so
johnsonnation.com.
johnsonnation.com.
Uh-huh.
I will put all the links below on our viewers. And guys, really thankful and cannot wait to see you guys the next time. Whoever knows, next time I'll be able to come down there. I was actually supposed to come down there Easter weekend, but we went on and canceled our tickets because of all this going on. Yeah. So just looking forward to sharing the stage with you guys, doing big things with you. Just very proud. I hope our listeners and viewers got some knowledgeable words from you guys. I'm gonna leave you guys. Y'all both get 1 minute each. Some motivational, inspirational stuff. The Queen, Jamila, you go first, and Vash, you close us out.
All right.
Right on. So, actually, when you talk about motivation, I think, like I said earlier, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So, we actually were seeking to get better ourselves for each other. First for ourselves and then for each other. And in leadership, in learning more in leadership and network marketing, I was honing in on that. He was honing in on himself. And we ended up meeting in the middle and getting to where we are right now. What I mean by that is, the way you do anything is the way you do everything. And looking to get better in leadership, I ended up not only getting better in leadership, but getting better in my marriage. You can't do one thing one way and then everything else falls, by the wayside. You actually do one thing and you end up leveling up. So the last point for me is motivational speaking.
Man, so in the beginning, my wife, we talked about how we couldn't see ourselves winning in network marketing, but we went to that first training event, and there was a guy doing this thing that gave us belief. And so, when people step out to do what they want to do, a lot of times they can't see themselves winning. And I say it's, get those negative thoughts out your head. It starts here. See, we're not special. We just go after what we see. But it starts here. See, you can't see yourself winning, but guess what? I mean, and that's on you. You have to change your mindset. We have the mindset of we can't see ourselves losing now. And so we just go after what it is we want to. I said it before. When you set yourself on fire with passion, people will come to see you burn. Let's go.
Hey, do what you love and love what you do. Johnson family, thank you so much. Be sure to check us out on the YouTube channel, Dream Chaser Academy. You can search in there, do what you love what you do, and the Apple Podcast as well. Hey guys, thank you again. I love you. Can't wait to see you. And don't forget to send me those 2 books.
Absolutely.
We got you. Love you right back. Thank you for having us.
Man. Thank you.
Guys, thanks for listening. If you love this podcast, go ahead and share it on all your social media platforms. Looking forward to growing with you guys. See you at the top. Peace.